Ford versus Holden. Which ute gets the gold medal for gold mining? And Australia's most outrageous supercar. Welcome to Top Gear Australia. This is episode 2. So come on, you two, pay up.
$5. You win, Charlie.
Yeah, good bet to lose.
Yeah.
Oh, how sweet it is.
Yeah.
Now, last week on Top Gear, we had a world studio exclusive, a very, very sexy white car. This week, yet another world exclusive, a very, very sexy black car. Actually, it's not a car, it's a missile.
Have you ever had one of those dreams you just don't want to wake up from? You know the ones? Well, I'm having one now. I'm Steve McQueen, it's 1966, and I've just won Le Mans. And I don't even care about getting the girl, because the car I'm driving is better than sex.
This is the Ford GT supercar.
Some cars will rip up the street. This will drag your house with it. Children mutate when you drive past. It's just ridiculous.
Ford built the car to celebrate their 100th anniversary and as a tribute to their glory days of motor racing. But you know what? This thing is actually a race car built for the road.
They said road. They didn't say which one. See, a bit over 40 years ago, Ford and Ferrari had a huge ruck because Henry Ford thought the Italians had welched on a business deal. So Henry decides, as you do, to get his own back by building a supercar to stuff them at Le Mans. And he did, 4 years in a row.
So while some car companies are struggling to see a future, Ford is looking to the past to rekindle some of their glory. This retro refit is a reproduction of the original GT40 with some important changes. It's a bit wider, a tiny bit taller, 43 inches, not 40, and it's more powerful as well. Kind of like a GT40 on steroids. And there's something unique about this particular car, a characteristic faithful to the original.
The thing about this GT is it's special. Look where I'm sitting, right-hand drive. This is the first right-hand drive Ford GT in the world.
This latter-day GT40 is model number RHD001, the first of only a handful of right hookers being built.
Until recently, the chances of seeing one of these things on an Australian road, well, was about as likely as getting a big cheque from the ATO.
And it'll want to be a pretty big check if you're going to put it towards buying this particular model. The thick end of $500,000.
This thing is an absolute horn box. It's styled just as you would imagine. In fact, there's only one thing I don't like about the styling. When you're driving it, you can't see it.
No wonder it's good looking. This car isn't actually an American design. Ford went to Lola in the UK for that.
So what's the catch? Well, to be honest, I reckon it's good value at any money because it's just such an experience. But if I had to really fess up, I'd have to say, well, I'm sick of decapitating myself shutting the door like this. Honestly, it's like going to the guillotine every time you get in the car.
To find this car white with the blue Cobra stripes. But in this black colour scheme, well, it's just plain menacing. The car hasn't got curves, it's got loins. The gaping vents and intakes look like they'd suck a small dog clear off the road and blow it out the exhaust pipes. And on the inside, well, they've really stuck to the original script. All the gauges, the toggle switches, all faithful to the original 60s design. All very Thunderbirds. And of course, that all-important badge. #1 right-hand drive in the world. And that's very nice. But for me, it's all about the horses. And 001 has 850 of them.
It just means it's got the most ridiculous squirt you've ever seen. More than 800 horsepower. My God! This thing goes so fast, it's faster than the speed of light. I'm going to get to the end of the circuit yesterday.
That was so unbelievable, I had to try it again. This thing spins the wheels in every gear.
120, 130, 150, 160, 180, 200, 210, 220, 240, dear me.
Away from the track and back on the road where it's meant to be. I'm back to that Steve McQueen thing all over again.
When I wake up from my dream, I have to think, I really do like driving it. It's actually pretty easy. I mean, you could launch yourself into space if you weren't careful with this little pedal here on the right-hand side. So don't lend it to your wife to take it shopping. That's very sexist, and it's supposed to say, lend it to your wife. Don't lend it to your mates. With a car like this, you don't need mates. With a car like this, you don't need a wife. Is that not the most outrageous thing you have ever heard? Honestly, birds fall out of trees when you drive past.
I know what you mean, Charlie. What is it with that thing?
Hang on. You're right back there. You're right. Oh.
It's a bad design, isn't it? It looked like an absolute handful.
Mate, it is an absolute handful indeed. You're changing fourth gear, maybe 200 Ks, and the back is still moving up. It's very lucky I was on a runway because it was almost taking off. 250, 260 north of that. It wanted to take up. I was waiting for air traffic control, actually. It just needed clearance.
Well, I suppose it makes sense, doesn't it? It's actually got more power than a V8 supercar, this, and you forget that, don't you?
It's absolutely astounding. I mean, I've raced GT1 Le Mans spec race cars in Europe. They've got less power than this, and they've got huge slick tyres, not road tyres like that. There's kind of an immutable law about how much horsepower you can get through a road tyre, and bless them, they've tried. I mean, they're 2 postcodes wide on this, but you've still got wheel spin no matter what. But no matter what I say, it ain't a real supercar until it's faced the ultimate test. Now, some say he's the next stage in the human evolution of hand-eye coordination. Some believe he's the secret love child of the Queen, Angelic Knight Jack Murray. But we all know it's time to release the Stig. Turn your colour up, here he comes. Not too much wheel spin off the line, that was good. Down into the question mark. A little bit of understeer there, as you can see. Look at the tyre width differential there. All that rubber just trying to get the power down through Clarkson. Very easy on the throttle. He could just rip our track to bits if he wasn't careful. Over the crest and down through the left-hander into 4. This is the critical corner. A little bit of understeer there. You can see the thing pushing, using all of the track. Oh, a little bit sideways, head down and bum up. This will feel like that to the Stig. It won't take a second. Believe me, I know how fast that feels. Down through the chicane. Trust me, he lifted big time. Out through the chicane and down into 06. Wandering all over the place under brakes. Just trying to wash the speed off. Just very, very delicate does it. Through the bus stop, he's looking pretty smooth. Last part of it, come on. Head down and bum up and across the line. There's the Stig. Man, there is no substitute for horsepower.
That did look fast.
It was fast. I can tell you, the Stig did that in the GT Ford in a 1:08.80. We have a new supercar time.
No. Hang on. We need to qualify that, Charlie.
come
Hang on a minute. The GTR did that time with a 180k speed limiter in effect. Actually, the Stig said, with sign language, that he was on the speed limiter all the way past the chicane into 06. When you think about that, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, it is, but I mean, he wasn't bored in this, I can guarantee you. I'm on all the straights over.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's got four-wheel drive. It's only 3/4 of a second behind the Ford GT. That's pretty good, don't you reckon?
That's pretty good, mate, but look, traction is very overrated.
Actually, yeah, Nissan, 180k speed limiter. What were you thinking?
No, Steve, you don't deliver it like that. You deliver it like this. What were they thinking? Now, if you were going to buy an Australian car in the 1970s, you'd go to the big three: Holden, Ford and Chrysler, or what we used to call Valiant. But for a time there were the big four, hey lads, because Leyland decided it would build the ultimate Australian motor car by building the P76, a car sort of famous because you could drop a 44-gallon drum in the boot. I don't know why you'd want to drop a 44-gallon drum in the boot, but you could. Now, in its death throes, Leyland decided it would build a GT to take on two-door Falcons and Monaros, and it was this, the Force 7. This is the only P76 in which you could not put a 44-gallon drum. And why would you buy a P76 if you couldn't put a bloody 44-gallon drum in it? What were they thinking? Don't you agree, Charlie?
Yes, I do agree.
Good work. Steve, what have you got?
Well, does everybody remember the Lotus floating car, the one that went underwater in the James Bond movie? I think it was The Spy Who Loved Me.
It was, yeah.
Remember that car? Well, yeah, there's a Swiss guy that decided to do this, and he's called it the Scuba. Right? So the marketing department went overboard with that. So he's got a perfectly good Lotus, ripped the engine out of it and put two 14-kilowatt electric motors in that thing so it can go underwater.
So water and electricals. It's a very nice mix.
You know, that's a really good mix. So I reckon this is, what were they thinking for this week for me? Right there.
Mate, I have absolutely followed your 70s theme. 1971, I give you the E38 Valiant. You had to win at Bathurst, so they came up with this fabulous new engine for this model. It was an absolute belter, really going to do the job. Tons and tons of horsepower. Bear in mind, it's up against GT Falcons, 350 Monaros. So the boys down in there in the engineering said, oh, what do you reckon we'll need for a gearbox? Oh, well, I got a 3-speed in me ute. 3 it is then. So they went to Bathurst with the E38 with a 3-speed gearbox. Valiant, what were you thinking? We'll be back faster than a torque flight. Valiant changes gear. Australia, 3 key elements really define us. You're either Liberal or Labor, you like Aussie rules or rugby league, and you either like Fords or Holdens. It's in our DNA.
Actually, what about those people that vote for the Greens, drive a Toyota and play soccer?
No. It's more important than that. The Holden Ford thing is really the guts of everything. It can divide families. So I grew up in a Holden family. My dad drove Holdens, my grandfather drove Holdens. So I saved up, got my first car, and I bought a Falcon just to annoy my dad.
And we know that we're going to annoy you. Well, at least half of you anyway, because no matter what the result of this test is, half of you are going to think that we're brilliant, insightful road testers, and the other half are going to think we're a pack of turkeys that have no idea. And you'd both be right. It's a really simple concept, Charlie. We've got 2 iconic Aussie cars, 2 race drivers and a racetrack. And we're going to put them through a series of exercises that'll test what an Aussie car really should be capable of.
He means drive like hooligans.
Yeah. Our first test is a classic Aussie tradition, a burn off at the traffic lights.
But before we did anything, I felt it was important that we warm up the tyres. The Ford F6 is a 4-litre turbocharged inline 6 with double overhead cams. Ooh.
Whereas the Club Sport is pure Aussie muscle. A hairy-chested push-rod 6.2-litre V8 with overhead valves. Wow.
Okay, CC, in drive.
Traction on.
Aircon at 20.
I was going to cheat and turn it off, but I wouldn't dream of it.
Okay, 3,
2, 1.
Come on, big V8. Oh, yeah.
Oh, nothing off the line. Here she comes.
He's gaining. We jumped off the line, but he is gaining.
Come on.
Come on, car, come on.
Now we're singing. Charlie, that's bloody close. Who won that?
I get a sinking feeling your bonnet crossed the line first, but the rest of my car had great attitude. Next up, a braking test. Steve suggested we swap cars to keep it fair. I suggested we should warm up the tyres first. Now, I'm doing the brake test in your car. What's the catch?
Nothing. I just put an oxyacetylene torch to the front brakes. I'll be fine. Okay, Charlie, follow me. 100 k's an hour, side by side. Once we go through those cones, jump on them. Let the ABS do the work.
Ready for it?
And... Oh, I think the Holden's got it.
No, mate, I definitely won. I'm miles in front.
That'd be right. Put a spin on anything you do. As the day wore on and the tyres warmed up, Charlie and I agreed that for the money, there's not a car in the world that comes close to the performance these things are capable of. I reckon the cultural cringe that some Australians still feel towards Holdens and Fords should really be a thing of the past.
Before reaching a conclusion, we both jumped in the Falcon to compare notes. My point is this: I prefer the handling of this, in spite of the fact that it actually has less mechanical grip, because I think it's more neutral. And at the end of the day, you buy a car like this to enjoy, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I get that. But the issue is, I don't prefer turbocharged power. I like instant power when I've got it, right? Let's stomp on the gas and let's go somewhere. As we proved when we did the drags, off the line, the Holden literally blew this to the weeds. Now, by the time we got to an interesting speed, we were going faster than you're allowed on any road in Australia.
Absolutely.
So largely irrelevant. Which is why you persist in going sideways everywhere, because at least you're under the speed limit.
True.
Yourself online. Apex, it's sort of like a pointy thing. They're often in the middle of corners. Since Steve had warmed up the tyres for me, I took the wheel for the last lap of the day. Yeah.
All right, let's go. Come on, Charlie,
Okay.
big drift.
So drive badly. Drive very, very
Ready?
badly.
Go.
Bad drive.
Hey, it's a bit of dirt.
I knew that.
Hey, hands and feet everywhere. It's still going.
We've still got. We can't control it. It's gone mad. It's all over. I know. I'm blowing out. How was
Get
that?
me out of this car.
So, what's it to be? Holden or Ford? Red or blue? And the winner is neither. But they're both very good at warming up the tyres. No, mate, I've got this rumble. That engine in this car
Piece of cake.
No, I reckon the front end of that car in this car's a better match.
That's got a horrible gearbox. That grip's better. This has got poor mechanical grip, but it's very neutral.
Yeah, if you put the back tyres of that on this, that'd be actually better again.
Unless it gripped too much and it wasn't neutral.
Yeah, but that's quite a pointy car.
I really like the V8 instant grunt.
I'm with you on that. Sounds better too.
By the time the turbo gets busy, you're exceeding the speed limit, and you'd never do that.
Actually, as Steve was saying before that piece, you're both right, and you both won, you know. Ford and Holden won in that.
These are fantastic and they're world-class cars for the money. That's what I love about them. But what I even love more about them is the fact that they drift so well.
Yeah, mate, I learnt to drive apex to apex.
Come on, drifting is fantastic. There's a national championship for it now. You even get a trophy for it.
You get a trophy, it probably drifts right off the mantelpiece.
That's going to go on forever. But in the meantime, here's the news. India used to be known as the jewel of the British Empire, but nowadays Britain, or Jaguar and Land Rover, are the jewel of the Indian Empire. Actually, Tata. If you've never heard of Tata before, it's a giant Indian industrial conglomerate, and they own airlines and hotel chains and have a massive automotive industry that make delightful vehicles like this.
Oh, beautiful.
Now, this year, Tata bought Jaguar and Land Rover, much to the horror of English purists. But I can see an upside to this. You know, I had a few ideas. Imagine the off-road capability of an Indian Land Rover.
Where's the trunk?
Or of a Jaguar that is fully sick, mate.
Thank you.
Now, on news closer to home, Ford Australia are actually thinking of converting the Falcon into a front-wheel drive.
Are they Falcon crazy?
I know. Who likes the idea of a front-wheel drive Falcon? Shocking, absolutely. I mean, well, that's the problem. You know, no one's been buying this car. Actually, last year, they sold less of these things than they did when they first came out in 1960.
But that was an excellent model, mate. In fact, 1960 was a great year for a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, I mean, no one's buying these things, so that, you know, the Seppos have decided, hey, we're selling 300,000 Tauruses a year. Guess what you're going to get?
And they were a thing of beauty last time they tried it.
Exactly right, yeah.
Well, speaking of strange things, Ford, there's a new James Bond movie about to be released called, wait for it, The Quantum of Solace. What the hell does that mean? I understood Goldfinger and I understood Thunderball, but whatever Quantum of Solace means, I have no idea. James Bond will have an Aston Martin, which is a good thing. Yay! But when he's sort of co-spy, she drives a Ford car.
That's a bit sexist, isn't it? She only gets that.
She gets that. Jimmy gets the Aston, and she gets that. Now, the funny thing is that the CEO of Ford Europe says that this car matches the character who drives it because she is adventurous, individual, and thoroughly modern. And by the looks of it, awfully boring.
Actually, speaking of little cars, Mini are now thinking about making an SUV, a four-wheel drive Mini.
Why not? I mean, a Mini's as big as a Land Cruiser anyway.
That's exactly right.
It's not very mini, is it?
All you've got to do these days to make a car, you know, into an SUV is put some, you know, crappy grey plastic on a car, jack it up a little bit. This thing looks like it'd barely clear grass.
But the one lovely thing about that car is it looks like it's been styled off about a 1954 Vanguard.
And it's had a facelift. Its eyes are pulled back like that. It can't smile. Now, Warren was talking before about the Brits losing their luxury cars to India. But the Brits are also losing their sports cars to the Armcos, to the trees, to the scenery in general. They are smashing the very, very fabulous Veyrons. Look at that.
Oh, man, look at that.
Two Brits have smashed two of these 400-kilometre-an-hour supercars in the last 18 months. The headlines in the tabloids are calling them crash test pommies, which I think is highly, highly reasonable. That thing there is worth the thick end of $2 million. Well, it was. That's more than our next ad break.
And now for this week's challenge. And since this is Top Gear Australia, we wanted to do something uniquely Australian. Now, our first idea involved the hills hoist of Victor Murray and an esky. And then we got a phone call.
Kalgoorlie, 10,000 kilometres from anywhere that matters. A pioneer town built on the dust of a gold rush. It's an isolated, thriving metropolis, home to 25,000 hardy desert dwellers. Kalgoorlie. Some say it's the biggest hole in Australia, but they're wrong. The biggest hole's right next door. This is the Super Pit. At 4 kilometres long, 2 kilometres wide and half a K deep, the Super Pit is the biggest hole in Australia. And it's getting bigger all the time. A bloody big hole needs a bloody big ute. And this is as big as they get. The Cat 793 weighs 200 tonnes and is about 4 stories high. Even the tyres are over 4 metres tall. Each 793 shifts more than 200 tonnes of the rock from the bottom of the Super Pit to the top. But all that rock gives up only around a golf ball of gold. And only 1 in 6 trucks has any gold at all. We've come to the Super Pit to see if there's a better way. So instead of Titanic Tonka toys, why not hold the gold in utes?
It's simple, really. We need to move as much ore as we can in the time it takes this 793 Cat to take 2 loads to the site. It's the value of the gold we find divided by the cost of our utes.
So our challenge is to see if the humble ute can move gold ore as cost efficiently as that.
Now, I like to work in comfort, so for me the choice is a no-brainer. The Nissan Navara, but not any Navara, the King Cab D40. I can tell you, this is the boardroom of utes, and I'm the chairman.
And the Navara has a secret weapon. It's 4-wheel drive. That gives it more ground clearance, and I reckon that gives it a much bigger payload. It's the best for the job.
No, it isn't. To start with, the ute shouldn't have 4 doors, and it should have real grunt. Now, this is a Ford XR6, and everyone knows that a real ute is Australian. Now, not only is this better looking, it's actually 10 grand cheaper.
And anyway, the Super Pit's roads are all graded. You just don't need a 4-wheel drive. All you need is a fast Aussie ute. That'll be enough to take the prize.
Seeing this as a value for money debate, there's only one ute on the market that stands a chance. It's a Proton Jumbuck.
Mate, what's that? It's not a ute, it's a roller skate.
OK, it might be a roller skate with a 1500cc engine, and it can only carry about half a tonne, but this challenge is all about efficiency.
Mate, that's front-wheel drive. You fill it up with rocks, the front wheels that come off the ground. Look like a chihuahua doing dog paddle.
Yeah, but look, you blokes have missed the point. You've both got expensive utes, because mine's the cheapest, mine's the most cost-effective. Do the maths.
And in our monster ute, the Stig. And we told him he'd have a 2,000 horsepower engine. But we didn't actually tell him it only has a top speed of 35 k's. He is not happy. Okay, gentlemen. Ready? Set.
Oh, this is going to be bad.
Go.
Righto. Let's see how she looks with one.
Brace yourself, Navara. Oh. Set to go.
And we're off.
Holy crap. You can tell it's got a ton on board.
Yeah, Steve's got a ton on board. But the Stig's got 225 times that, and he's off.
Oh, the joy of a front-wheel drive ute. It's a bit like a dog on lino, skittering around everywhere. But nevertheless, we're in the lead. I love it.
Come on, baby, come on.
Okay, let's see if we can make amends here. Oh, I can't make amends. I can't even see where I'm going.
Start last. After the first pit stop, in the lead.
I reckon the Jolly Jumbuck's doing all right.
Right,
quick turn around.
Steve was feeling confident and took double the load.
Righto, 2, Matty, 2. Yep. Here we go. Don't smash them. Go.
Warren only took about a wheelbarrow full so he could get away quickly.
We're in the leading end. Go, Jolly Jumper. Woohoo!
And I'd suffered a serious setback.
He's loaded me up before I got my chain out. It's all over. Nothing else for it. We're going to have to overload. Come on, baby. I know you can do it. Must have gone.
Meantime, the Stig just kept on coming. Slow as a wet week, but coming he was.
And coming up that hill in second with a taco sort of screaming its head off. I could smell something burning. It smelled like Rotorua.
Smell something? I do. Front-wheel drive engine oil burning.
Nothing to do with the fact that I was coming last, but I was getting a little bit cranky.
But the big problem we've got when we get to the top, there's a real design fault with this thing. When you open the tailgate, you've got this massive gap between the bed and the gate. These great big rocks fall between the tailgate and the back of the tray. Even Warren's stupid little sand shoe doesn't do that. You've got to unload it with a pair of tweezers because you can't get it past the tailgate. It does somewhat defeat the purpose. End of rant. I'm better now.
Stig had finished his first trip. That meant half our time was gone already. We had to get serious.
Come on, Warren. My mum would go faster than you. Shift it.
Looking forward to this. Ready? Hang on. Ready? Here we go. Third gear. Wacko.
Excuse me, Warren. Let me put my car right in your way.
Oh, Charlie, you old thing.
Ah, see you, suckers! There's Charlie. I reckon he's been cheating. I've got a 60k limit up the hill. I'm doing 65 and he's catching us. What's that telling you? The old motorsport adage. I know you're cheating because I'm cheating and you're beating me. Why that is.
In a cavern, in a canyon, next to the heat for a mine.
Warren was getting comfortable. Never a good idea. Sure enough, Wing Commander Wrongway Brown was soon headed for the Wild Blue yonder.
Shit. I took a wrong turn.
Wazza's lost! Ah! Wazza got lost!
Oh, no!
Geographically embarrassed, Wazza? Caught that!
This is going to be close to the wire. Steve in the lead, Warren second, me in behind.
And the Stig about to bring it all to an end.
Nice work, Charlie. Yeah, watch your foot. Good. Yeah, it really is broken.
Holy smokes.
The crash of the Stig's 225-ton avalanche signalled the end to our Super Pit challenge. Our precious ore lay spilled on the ground. But is there gold and then there's spills?
Okay, boss. How'd I do?
All right, well, to us, that's about 5 tonnes. The current value of gold is worth $330.
We're rich.
We've got to factor in the value of your very expensive machine there. So by my reckoning, I put you at about 0.73 cents for today's work.
Job done. Almost a cent. Drinks are on me.
Now, I know this is a small pile, and there's nothing wrong with small piles. When you're 80, you'll be grateful, probably. So, was there good news or bad news?
Bad news, I'm afraid.
Why is that?
Work it out.
Now, that's got to be 4 or 5 tonnes at least.
Oh,
in
at
there.
least.
Doesn't have to try.
I reckon it's more like 1.5 tonnes.
Right.
If I value that by the price of gold at the moment, it comes out to $100.
So, how does it work out with the cost of the jumbuck?
That comes to half a cent.
Half a cent. What did you get?
Almost 3/4.
Your shout then, I guess.
Yeah, we're in the money, mate.
Now, please tell me we have enough for a beer.
No.
It's a close run thing.
Spell it out.
I'd say you've got about 4 tonne there.
Sounds about right.
I'd say that's worth about $260. If I factor in how much your car's worth,
About $30.
not now, what it was worth. That is a tie.
It's you and me.
No!
Now, Warren, mate, you'd have done as well as us if you just filled the thing up properly.
Yeah, well, that turned out to be true, Charlie, but don't underestimate this little car. Now, I reckon if you had enough of these at the mine, you could do away with the great big mining
Are
trucks.
you kidding me, Woz? Do you know how many of those you'd need to do that?
6.
No, that's half a tonne. That's 225 tonnes. What's that? You'd need 450 protons to do the job of one truck. Actually, they've got 50 of the damn things at the mine. That's
Good luck with that.
22,500
Now,
protons.
last week's star in a bog-standard car was an unbridled success. Largely because Vince Colosimo didn't kill himself, and more importantly, he didn't kill me either. This week's star, well, he made his name in the movie Mad Max, and you know, he's been on our TV screens ever since. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge welcome for Steve Bisley! Take a seat. Now, mate, you were the really cool one in Mad Max because you rode a bike.
Well, I always said that too.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a bike
well,
man.
but, you know, I was the goose, so
Yeah, and they cooked your goose, didn't they?
they sure did. But I still get people come up to me 29 years later and go, "The goose, mate."
But you love bikes, don't you? You still ride?
Yeah, well, I'd ridden before Mad Max, and it was like a dream come true. It was like being in a big cartoon.
Yeah.
When somebody said, "Here's a big motorbike, put these leathers on, and you're a motorcycle futuristic cop."
On Mad Max, did you get to drive the V8 Interceptor?
Yeah, we got to, because for us it wasn't a big deal film. It was just a little Australian film being made. Nobody
Nothing
thought it was going to
happened.
do what it did. So, yeah, we'd drive them up to the shop at lunchtime.
Salad roll,
salad roll, a pint of milk, and
and your
pie.
firstborn.
Yeah, that's right.
But you did your own stunts, didn't you? A lot of them.
Yeah, well, back in those days, there was no safety guys on the set. We did have one stuntman who broke his leg on day one going out to the location. And I don't know if anybody knows this, but he had the lead lady on the back of the bike. She broke her leg too. So they recast the film.
Cast literally, yeah, that's very good.
Recast it. But I rode for my character and 2 other characters as well.
So you actually stunt double.
Yeah, so they'd say, today you're going to be Rattansky, so put this helmet on. Oh, what have I got to do? I'll just ride over there at 100 miles an hour. And there was no telecommunication. They just waved a big red flag. That was it.
What was your first car? Because I know the answer to this. It's going to crease you up.
Yeah, it was... there was only a few of these in the country. They were very hard to get. Because of the power, they didn't want a lot of people to have them.
Fair call.
Because there was a danger element. They were the Morris 1100. They had a bench seat, and so at the drive-in, they were just the car.
You're a truck driver.
I was a truck driver. I got a day off driving the truck to apply to go to drama school. And I I paid $5 for the audition, and I went and I was absolutely hopeless. And I went away, and a week later I got a telegram saying, "Come back and
Up the bribe.
Yeah, give us another 10 and we'll let you in. Yeah, but I was driving trucks around New South Wales.
Now, mate, you do love your machines. Every time we see you, you're a truck driver, you're a motorbike rider. Every time we see you, you're driving something. You know, you're doing all that stuff in Mad Max, driving boats in water rats. I mean, what is it about you and machines?
I think I grew up on a farm, and it was all about, we're always tinkering with whatever, machines, or my brother used to race bikes, so I sort of got the bug from him, and we're always tinkering with stuff around the farm, so I just liked engines and motors ever since.
You do like racing, don't you? I mean, you've done celebrity races and all the rest of it?
Yeah, I drove in 2 celebrity races. The first one was with Kostya Zoo, who's a mate of mine, and he had a problem. He couldn't differentiate between the tacho and the speedo. So, yeah, it was a bit of a problem. So they taped up the tacho so it wouldn't confuse you. And we were training at Sandown. You train on the Grand Prix for a week at Sandown before they let you loose on at the track. And one session, I came around him. He'd backed into a wall. He was always backing into stuff. And after the session, I said, "Kostya, what happened?" He said, "I don't like corner." So he was all right in the straight line.
So he punched it out.
He was all right in the straight line.
You must have had your eye in though, mate. I mean, you must have been well sharp on our special track then, if you've done a bit of racing before. How do you feel it went?
Well, the car was the Proton.
No, the car was the Proton.
Yeah, the Proton.
Does anyone want to see? I think we're very keen to see it, mate.
I might head off now. Thanks very much for seeing it.
Oh, straight across the line there, lots of smoke. Big attitude here, mate.
God.
Down to the question mark. You're really going to have your eye in here. Now, how's this? Take us through the right-hander. This is Clarkson, by the way.
Yeah, right. I think I got a bit lost the first time. Oh, no, we sort of made it up that bit.
Appropriate, it's called Clarkson Corner then.
Is that Clarkson Corner?
Yeah, that was.
This is nice, sort of over the back.
Yeah, and this is key. Oh, he got out of there very well. Really getting the boot in. You don't adjust your glasses.
It was like raining on the inside because all the sweat was coming down.
Tell me about it. Now, down to the chicane. Did you lift or were you flat through?
No, I lifted here badly, I reckon.
Okay, into the bus stop.
I don't know what time is, but this sure is fun.
Oh, yeah, you hit something.
Yeah, I did. I cleaned up the tyre. I put a bit of a white stripe along the side of the car.
Okay, head down, bum up, and across the line, Steve Bisley.
Thank you very much.
Now, I've got to say, that looked pretty purposeful.
Looked okay.
It did look okay. It looked very purposeful.
As long as
because I could tell you that Vince had an absolute tank slapper at the end there.
Did he?
And it cost him a bit of time.
Right.
So
what do you do? 1:34.19.
You did it in 1 minute 26.7. Nice. We have a new leader.
Yay! Wait till I see that Colossimo. I'm going to see Vince in a little while.
Well, before you see Vince, we're going to see you. Now, let's have a little look at this mark you left on our car.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Mate, we haven't got the budget of the celebrity race.
I offered to polish it out on the day, but they said it's okay.
Yeah.
It was a tyre thing.
She'll tea-cut out, don't you worry. Ladies and gentlemen, he was awesome. Please thank Steve Bisley. After the break, Warren and Steve go from bad to hearse.
Last week we saw the trouble Warren can get into when he's left to his own devices. So I really should have known better when I came along to his next brainwave.
Those clever people at Mercedes-Benz are determined that their smart car should be taken seriously. Seriously for its economy, seriously for its safety, and seriously for its image. For a car that started life over at the Swatch factory, economy is an easy sell. It's the other two that may be more problematic. For starters, it's not much bigger than your standard watch, so I've devised a marketing ploy that should fix things in the serious department. So, this is our smart car.
And here's you, and here's me, like that.
Just like looking in a mirror.
Yeah, something like that. And what I want to do, see, this car is a serious little car, all right? We want to make this a very serious little car. So what's the most serious car that you can think of you see on the road? A hearse. I want to turn this smart car into a smart hearse.
It was at this point that I really felt that things could go horribly wrong. Was Warren serious? How could we possibly do it? And where the hell would the coffin go? Of course, Dr. Smartenstein had a plan.
Look at that.
Smart cars have become the perfect vehicle for outdoor advertisers, and Mercedes-Benz is not happy. CEO Wolfgang Schrimp is quoted as saying, "It is not our wish for this car to be a moving billboard."
I ain't wearing that.
Put this on. Let's go and get ourselves a body.
I just hope Wolfgang appreciates our efforts.
Bit of respect.
Half expecting a real one.
So first up, we're going straight to the experts to see if my idea isn't just dead weight.
So what do you think?
Not much. It's crap.
Mate, it's okay, I'm with you. I reckon that's crap.
This is the hearse of the future.
Those two are just jealous because they don't have hats. Now it's up to the public to see if they take my idea more seriously.
Hey, Woz.
Yeah, mate.
I think I like travelling in a hearse.
Yeah, it has a sort of a certain cachet.
Pull over, pull over.
What for? What for?
Just pull over. Just pull over.
Where are you going?
Just wait here a second.
I can't stop here. I mean,
Just wait. Boss,
what's all that?
it's for the wake.
What wake?
The wake we're going to have after.
Can't fit. We can't take it.
Yeah, in the Pinesky in the back, mate.
The longer I ride shotgun, the more the concept grows on me. But I keep wondering, are they laughing at us or the car?
I know what they're laughing. Right, it's your hat.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not wearing it right, am I?
No.
Is that better?
Much better.
Yeah.
Rigor mortis seems to have set in, and the only thing left to do with this idea is to bury it.
See, this is the good thing about this little smart hearse. This is a...
Please tell me.
Well, the interesting thing is that this, I mean, particularly in Victoria, they're now starting to bury people vertically. It's all about economy of space. And see, the great thing about having a smart car as a hearse, it's about economy of hearse.
Warren's insight may have been compelling, but I still doubt Mercedes would have been impressed.
Now, we've got a couple of different sections of religion here, don't we?
Yeah, I'm not sure what sort of a religion is a crash test dummy here.
Optimist.
These sombre motoring occasions are strange things. You never know exactly who might show up.
He's lost for words.
Boy. Not so smart. Charlie, this is the hearse of the future.
It's not my future.
Yeah, but it will catch on.
Mate, it won't catch on, it is going on. This is my entrant next week in the What Were They Thinking? What were you thinking? Next week, Sanity returns. Top Shelf, Mercedes Black Label CLK, Warren's Project X, and We Raid the Wreckers. Yep, recycling gone mad. See you then.
Top Gear fans will find a range of merchandise including Top Gear DVDs, CDs and books at Dymocks and JB Hi-Fi.